New Orleans Saints quarterback Spencer Rattler on growth since last stint as starter and preparing for the Green Bay weather. Ladies and gentlemen, today the backdrop is New Orleans.football, an interview with Spencer Rattler before the Monday Night Football game against the Green Bay Packers. Rattler wearing the Sunday Red, the Tiger Woods brand hat. Very nice, very classy. Interesting time for Spencer Rattler. So this is the first time that I think we can say without a shadow of a doubt Rattler feels like he is the tried and true starting quarterback of the New Orleans Saints. There is no more conversation of Jake Haener or Rattler. There is no more conversation of who should be starting. As long as Derek Carr is out, then Spencer Rattler is the starter. And I think Spencer Rattler knows, or he certainly should know, how he plays in these next three games, especially prime time, especially, huge moment, a couple days before Christmas, prime time. The world will be watching Monday Night Football. I will be watching. We're planning on live streaming the game. So if you want to get involved in that, please check out the live stream. It'll be on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. But if he performs well in those games, Spencer Rattler is probably going to be the future starter. He will, if nothing else, it will put him in serious conversation for, okay, do we make this guy the starting quarterback moving forward of the New Orleans Saints? And that is a huge opportunity that's in front of him.
How do you feel like the week's gone for you, just being able to prepare as you started this week?
Yeah, the week's been great. I think we're all dialed in on our plan. Like the plan, just got to go out there and execute. Nothing's going to be easy.
No, it will not.
We got to be on top of our stuff, but we've had a great week, so we're ready to go up there and cut it loose, play free.
Kind of like in your own evaluation of last time to this time, like what are some of the things that you took away from that window and maybe having some time from it that you've been able to learn from it and grow for this time?
Yeah, I think, your first time out there, obviously with everything we had going on, different coach, a lot of injuries, a lot of missing pieces. That was a big part of it. So having guys back, makes it a lot better. And then I think just getting to sit back and watch how it's supposed to be done. I thought DC's been playing really well. Obviously a great vet in our league, great vet for us. So being able to learn under him, pick his brain, watch how he plays, go through his reads, talks in the huddle, gets in and out, it's been great. But just getting out there again, it was good.
Rattler can't catch a break, man. I mean, he's talking about last time we had some injuries, so, it'd be better to have some pieces back. Boom. Alvin Kamara out. He just can't catch a break. This whole team can't catch a break. I will say with the Green Bay game, he's talking about cutting it loose and playing free. Saints are 14.5-point dogs. This is a huge underdog situation. This is a game where no one expects you to be competitive. I mean, this is one of those games where you keep it one score. You can tip your cap. The world would consider that a good performance. So Rattler does have that in his advantage where, yes, we want him to win the game, but if he just keeps it close, if he just looks competitive, the only thing he has to avoid is what we saw against Denver and Tampa Bay, where it's 27-0 quick, and he looks outmatched, he looks out of his depth, and it's ugly. But if he looks competitive and the Saints play competitive, especially with Kamara being out, a 10-point or less, a one-possession game would be a huge success for a Rattler.
So what about trying not to make the moment too big, knowing it's a small sample size you're going to be judged off of? Did any of that put added pressure on last time? And I know this last time you got to just go into the game unexpectedly. Did that help in any way?
No, I think, like I said, we had a lot of missing pieces, and, that's just fact.
True. Still fact.
I think that's it. And then, obviously going in a lot earlier than expected to, going from the 3 to the 1 in a couple days' notice, that's a big shell shock. But, thought we did well in certain parts throughout that. But again, we were so banged up, had a lot of missing pieces, and it's good to have guys back. Good to see those faces in the huddle.
After that second half against Washington, what are you just looking forward to building upon with this start? Yeah,
just keep playing. Football's football. You got to protect the ball, move the chains, score points. I thought we did a good job of that in the second half last game. One of our big goals this week is to come out fast. This is a really good team. We're playing one of the best in the league at their place on a Monday night. It's going to be a great challenge, so we got to come out fast and we got to stay fast. We have
Big, true, and big real. The last thing that the Saints can do, like I said a couple minutes ago, they cannot come out and go down 14-0, 10-0, 17-0 because the game will be over at that point. I'll go ahead and tell you a spoiler alert. The Green Bay Packers are going to try and run the football. If the Packers successfully run the football in the first couple of drives, like they did against the Seahawks, it's going to be a long day. If the Saints front puts up some kind of resistance and the Packers punt or settle for field goals or anything like that, and Rattler can get this offense going, okay, Saints have a chance. We'll know quick. We will know quick. I guarantee you, if the Packers, if it's up to them, Josh Jacobs will have 8 carries on the first drive. He will run the football the entirety of the first drive. So that's the first thing we'll be looking for. Can the Saints defense stop the Packers running attack? Second thing we're going to look for, can the Saints move the football? Same as against Tampa, same as against the Broncos, same against the Chargers. What's this offense look like? Are we scared to death? Are we PP britches? Are we, is the moment too big? Are we restricting the playbook? Are we running the ball and throwing horizontal and checking down and screens and nothing down the field? Is that what's going on? Or are we actually cutting it loose? Or are we actually playing free? And we're throwing the ball down the field. We're doing some razzle-dazzle. We're doing some play action. We're being creative. We shall see.
Haven't started out great, the last few weeks at home or on the road. And we got to come out hot in the second half as well. So those 2 areas, we have to be great in.
How did having Eric McCoy back kind of help? You obviously didn't play with him the first time around.
That's
Changes
huge,
everything.
yeah.
I mean, that's our guy. That's like our big just safety net in the middle. That's the smartest guy on the field. Knows everything, gets us in and out of right calls. He's a great talent. I mean, having him out there just makes everybody feel a lot better.
What do you make of your completion percentage and kind of your accuracy through your first 4 games? Is that?
I wouldn't dive into that too much.
Yeah.
A lot of throwaways, a couple missed opportunities, but I wouldn't be worried about that.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think a super small sample size, I'll give you an example, but let's say a quarterback, or a really dramatic way of this example is at the end of the half. A lot of the times at the end of the half, we'll see a quarterback just huck it up, kind of like a Hail Mary situation that might get picked off. Is that truly an interception? Probably not, right? But it hits the stat sheet as an interception. Same with some of these throwaways. If Rattler rolls out and there's nothing there, and he throws the ball away, that's 0 for 1, right? That's an incompletion. But in reality, it's probably the best decision. So on a super small sample size, now over the course of a year, over the course of usually a whole game, those kind of weigh themselves out. But in Rattler's situation where he's playing a half or he's playing a game here and there, you do kind of have to have some context with some of those stats, and completion percentage is definitely one of them.
With Alvin out, obviously, this week, Rizzi was saying how it's going to be, running back by committee kind of approach with a couple different guys. I mean, how confident are you in those guys that they'll be able to, hold their own and help the offense, go?
Yeah, I'm confident in all those guys. They work their tail off every day in practice. I think you see how Kendra flashes in the games. Great runner, can catch the ball, can do a lot of things. So, his confidence is high right now. I want to get him the ball in the run game and pass game, and then Jamal as well and Jordan. So I'm confident in all those guys.
Spencer, that throw to MBS, pockets collapse and can't really step into it. You just get it done.
Crazy throw, all arm. I mean, that was a fantastic throw. The lineman is on him. He can't even step forward. It's just his arm talent. I mean, that was nice.
How do you process that? And what are you thinking as that's all happening? And how do you have the wherewithal to even get that throw up?
You're not thinking. You're just reacting. Like I said, they got in that too high shell. That was the look. I think I pulled him across the field a little too much. I think I said I took a hitch or two too much and made it harder on myself. But in that instance, you're not thinking. You're just reacting, making a play. And, Janoko and our guys in the QB room, we do these donut drills where you throw pads at you while you're making throws. So it's, in your face as you're making throws. So it gives you that game-like feeling. And then just trying to manipulate that throughout practice, I think helps. But, you're not thinking, you're just throwing.
Is that kind of the key to like the calm that you have, like in those chaotic moments, is just really like not to even really acknowledge it and just kind of do what you got to do?
Yeah, I mean, you can't overthink it, you know, and you just got the pocket rarely is super clean. So being able to throw from any base, any pocket, gives you an advantage. I think you see the great quarterbacks in this league, make throws from anywhere in the pocket. You know, if they got a good base, if something's off script, off schedule, you got to make that play and give your guy a chance. You know, I think that's one thing I did this last game. I wanted to give my receivers, give my tight ends more chances. You know, they're one-on-one. I trust these guys to go make that play. Don't be too safe. Let's go make some plays, have some explosives, and that gets the momentum and juice going for the offense.
I think Rattler is good at that. He is good at giving his receivers a chance to make a play. Like Rattler, whether it's because of just his experience and just how much he played in college or just how he processes the game, but Rattler is good during chaos of keeping his head downfield. We talked about that after the Commanders game. He is one of those guys who keeps his head downfield, and he is trying to extend the play, and he is trying to make a play. He's not trying to take a sack, throw the ball away, you know, spike it. He rarely does he give up on a play. Now, sometimes that can get you into trouble when you should give up on a play. But in his situation, I agree. Like, there's nothing to lose. Throw the ball downfield, get the ball to your receivers. If you can give them a chance, give them a chance. You know, so that is something that he's really good at. And as a rookie, that's tough. Like that's tough to come by. To be, because I mean, we saw it with Haener, but when the pocket collapses or the bullets are flying, like young quarterbacks are much more willing to throw the ball away, take a sack, get rid of it, duff the ball, spike it, whatever. And that's what you want to see, is someone who keeps their head downfield and is maintaining the play, maintaining the progression, even as everything's falling apart.
Is that where his speed? Is that where his speed kind of factors into? Like, are you taking that extra hitch or two maybe because you don't realize he's as fast as he is?
No, I think I just, you know, I kind of got a little high on my toes just to confirm everything, and I think that's what made it slightly late. But again, he made a great play. He made a great catch, and it just happened like that. But yeah, he can go. He can roll.
What is it like getting used to that speed? I know you played with Rashid in that. But...
Yeah, I mean, you just got to put it out in front of him. You know, everybody's fast.
Yeah, I mean, MVS isn't Usain Bolt. Like, everyone's fast. Yeah, I mean, you know.
So you don't want to underthrow those guys. You want to give them a shot.
Do you practice like all the off-base stuff, and like how do you do that?
I've been practicing that since I was young, man. You know, any type of platform, any type of base, just trying to make yourself uncomfortable in practice so you're more comfortable in game. And I think our coaches do a great job of that in our practice, even with, you know, our slower tempo throughout team. But, you know, we'll speed up routes and speed up, you know, pressures and stuff just so we can get that feel. So I think getting that feel in practice, you know, doesn't make it easier on game day, but gives you that same feeling you had in practice before.
And then, like,
don't forget, South Carolina did not exactly have the best offensive line. So he got a whole lot of practice dealing with being off base or being in a pocket that's collapsing or being amongst some chaos. So that also factors into it too. And that is like, you know, it means more, right? But that is SEC fronts. Like, that is SEC level defenders that are flying around him. He's not doing this against Utah State. He's not doing this against Hawaii. Like, when his pocket is collapsing, he's got, I mean, Clemson, you know, like South Carolina played some absolute dogs, okay? Some absolute NFL level defensive linemen are in front of him. He has a sieve as an offensive line. So even that experience probably goes into being comfortable when things aren't exactly clean.
Like the mental part of that, like obviously you can practice the physical, but like is the mental part just kind of something that you either like have or don't, or is that something you can develop as well, or do you just kind of always?
I think you either have it or you don't.
That's a good question. I know everybody's different. You know, some guys react to pressure different than others. I think it's just confidence and reps on it. You know, if you've seen it in the past, if you dealt with that in the past, and you know, I think that helps. So. You know, like I said, a lot of guys are different. Not everybody's the same. So, yeah, I think it's a little bit of, okay, you got it or you don't.
Green Bay is top 10 in the league in scoring defense and total defense. When you watch them on film, like, what's the number one thing that stands out to you about them?
Yeah, I mean, they're good all around. I mean, up front, you know, good. Linebackers are good. Good on the back end, obviously, with their safety, McKinney. I think he leads the league in picks, so he's a ball hawk. You know, got to know where he's at all times. And obviously, you know, Jair Alexander, you know, at corner, if he plays, he's a one of the best DBs in the league. So just knowing where those guys are at all times. But for me, go through my progressions, get the ball out on time, don't make a bad play worse, and extend and give my guys opportunities, move the chains.
You didn't take any sacks in the second half against Washington. I think it was 14 in the first 3 starts. Is that an area that maybe you're working on improving? Do you feel like you operated better in that sense in the second half?
Again, I think, it's great having those 3 big, stout guys back in the middle. So, I mean, that's definitely a factor, having those guys in the middle. But, yeah, just getting the ball out, knowing where to go, being decisive. I think being decisive, you don't want to take any sacks unless, you're trying to make a play on a big down. But, going to do my best, going to do our best to avoid any sacks.
Spencer, what has Foster meant for you this year? His player, teammate, whatever.
I told him he's just a clutch player. I mean, he's a
stud. I mean, he's been really good. I mean, Foster doesn't get enough credit, I don't think, this year for how good he has been. But on a team that is devoid of playmakers because of injury or whatever else, Foster has stepped up to being a very reliable option. And I think he should get more targets.
For sure, target. I feel like he can match up well against anybody. Just big frame, sneaky speed, very long, and has great hands, and he's got a great mind for the game. I feel like every time I'm in with him, he finds the ball, and he's just got a great feel for the game. He's a great tight end.
Spencer, you seem pretty even keeled, cool, calm, collected every time we talk to you. As we go through the final weeks of the regular season, do you feel any pressure about where you all stand as you lead the offense?
First off, thank you, but no pressure. I think I just got to go out there and
yeah, I mean, he really does kind of have a free roll. Like, I know it is we talked about like huge opportunity and all of that, but Rattler does kind of have the free roll because he is a 5th round rookie. Like he's not, and he does have that security blanket of Derek Carr, where he's not really supposed to be the starting quarterback. He's ahead of schedule, if you want to put it like that. He's not a guy who was drafted to come in and be the immediate guy. His expectations are not that high. In a way, he has exceeded expectations already. I mean, I would go ahead and say that he has played better than anyone would have thought he would play this year. He certainly has played more than anyone thought he would play. And that's not even factoring in if he has a good performance against Green Bay or Tampa or the Raiders or whatever. There's still a lot of football left for Rattler, but unless he just completely implodes, unless he just pulls a Jake Haener and completely falls apart, then he's kind of playing with house money. Anything good he does is going to be absolutely, lauded. It's going to be absolutely celebrated. And as long as the bad isn't like catastrophically bad, then it'll kind of be like washed away. It'll kind of be like, okay, I mean, this is expected. So he probably shouldn't feel a lot of pressure because he does have a kind of a safety net. And this is the time where it's almost like all he can do is win. All he can do is, put a positive foot forward.
And play my style of ball. As Rizzy says, do my 111th. Everybody's got to do their 111th, do their part. And if we do that, the result's usually pretty good. So there's no pressure. I mean, where we're at, we just got to play free. This is my first year, 3rd or 4th start. I mean, I'm not looking to be a savior, but yeah. I want to go out there, play clean ball, play efficient, play at a high level to a standard that I hold myself to.
You ever played a snow game before?
I haven't played a snow game, but I've played in many cold games before in the Big 12, even in the SEC, cold, rainy, windy, like 30 degrees, 25, something like that. So should be fine.
Yeah.
I do think it's funny, like, I guess no one has ever been to some of these places, but like Tennessee, like they were asking, I'm filming this after Tennessee played Ohio State, but they were asking Tennessee players, like, have you ever been in cold weather? It's like Knoxville gets really cold. Knoxville and Nashville get super, super cold. I mean, it snows up there a lot. Like, it gets frigid. I know, obviously like Minnesota and places like that are way colder than places in the South, but unless you are in the Gulf South, like it gets pretty, like Arkansas gets cold AF. Tennessee, cold AF. So I always think that's funny when they're like they don't, I guess there's some kind of idea that the temp never drops below 50 as long as you're in the South.
Don't worry about breaking people's hands when it gets so cold, though, with how hard you throw.
They just got to catch it, man. I'm gonna try to put it there.
Rizzy just talked about trying to simulate the best that y'all can some of the environment that you go through. What has that been like?
It's actually been pretty good this week because, obviously our footing is the number one thing this week. We had to have our spikes in. We don't want to be slipping all over the field. You see that on tape. A lot of teams lose the games because they can't stay on their feet. Obviously, there will be some conditions. Luckily, it's been windy out here all week, so being able to deal with that in the passing game. And then, obviously, crowd noise will be a factor. We pump crowd noise in practice really loud, so, we can replicate that. So we've had a little conditions out here windy-wise this week, but even this morning, Janoko took us in the cafeteria freezer where it was.
Yeah, that's what Kat Terrell tweeted out, that Janoko had them in the walk-in freezer. Insane. At one point in my younger days, I worked at a shrimp packing plant, and we had to work most of the day in a walk-in freezer. Tough environment.
It was like 10 degrees, and we're just going through the whole script in there. And so just doing that, that helped a lot. So hopefully it's not 10 degrees, but, we'll be ready.
How long did you do that for?
Call plays in a freezer?
What's up?
Is that the first time you ever called plays in a freezer?
Yeah, that was the first for me. But Janoko's an interesting cat, man. Y'all would like him.
Did you get it out as fast as possible? Or how'd you?
We got through it probably in 5-10 minutes. We were in there for a good little minute, but it was good.
And just as a teammate, how cool is it to see Chris get back after what he's been dealing with?
Yeah, it's
got to be a huge bump to the team just to see Olave back at practice, just to see him around, just to see him happy, healthy, all that stuff. So love to hear it for Chris. I'm sure the players got a huge boost from that.
Good to have him back around. Obviously one of our best players, one of our guys. Good to see him, healthy and back out there running around a little bit. Obviously, he'll come back on his own timetable and what he's doing, but, love to see him out there. Thank you, guys.
There you go. I love him like a brother. I'm rooting for him. Hope he has a hell of a night. Could you imagine the story of Spencer Rattler if he goes up there and beats Green Bay? My God. Ladies and gentlemen, get on down in the comments below. Let me know what you think. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.